All right, and we're live. Cool. Yo, what's good? Welcome to the Know Your Word podcast. It's a parallel universe over here. I am your host, Christian Simmons. This is a podcast where I sit down with anybody I think would be an interesting conversation. We talk about life, business, and all the bullshit in between. This episode is brought to you by Parallel Studios, the best studio in the Midwest area. If you're in the Kansas City, Wichita, Oklahoma area and you need a studio to record at, make sure you guys tap in with Parallel Studios. We got great engineers, good turnaround time, and we work quick. So we are also brought to you by Manage to Create. If you guys need social media content or any social media advice at all, I really recommend following Manage to Create on Instagram. He drops solid content. And the creator of Manage to Create is actually our host today, Jacob Clark.
Yeah.
What's poppin', bro?
Not much. How you doing today?
I'm living the dream, man.
That's what
You know,
it be.
aren't we all? So we've shot this podcast like several times, but one of these times we'll get it right for sure.
Hopefully this is the one.
Yeah,
If you're seeing this, we did it.
We
finally
did
did
it,
it.
baby.
We
Round of
finally did it.
applause. Round of applause for us just to manifest it.
Yeah. We finally did it.
All right, man. So tell them a little bit about yourself, Jacob.
Yeah. So Manage to Create, or let's just start off with myself then. We'll do that.
Okay.
Name's Jacob Clark. There we go.
Yep.
Just question one out the way.
Cool. Nice to meet you, Jacob.
Hey, nice to meet you as well, Christian.
Yeah.
I'm a video creator, photographer, really anything media-wise I can handle.
What do you prefer?
Well, that's a hard one. It depends on the day. It depends how I'm feeling. It depends on the project.
Anything with a camera, though?
For the most part, yeah.
Yeah.
Camera or, computer, like graphics-wise and shit like that could be fun. But mainly, yeah, camera work is my specialty, I would like to say.
What got you into that?
So, starting off in high school, wanted to be a doctor, so I tried to do the half days of Butler.
Okay. For people that don't know, Butler is a community college where we're from.
Yes. So, at our high school, they offered half days at college and high school. I went to go apply for the medical program at Butler.
Yeah.
And, I missed the medical part by the math test by 1 point. So they told me I couldn't get in there.
Okay.
And they offered me the digital media course.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, I used to edit Call of Duty videos around that time, so I was like, okay, perfect.
Hold on. What kind of Call of Duty videos were you editing?
Bro, like phase and like optic style stuff.
Yeah.
Actually, when I was 14, I worked with Phase and Optic both on like their YouTube banners and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is like 2015?
Yeah, it was
like
20...
like peak Phase Clan.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So I randomly got into a PlayStation lobby with a guy that was an investor for them.
Yeah.
I didn't believe him. I was calling bullshit. I mean, I was 14. I was like, bro, there's no way. Like,
Yeah.
there's no way you know the Phase people. And then, like, a month goes by, and he saw some of, like, my graphics. I think he followed me on, like, Instagram or one of the social media platforms back then.
Yep.
And it was Twitter. And he saw some...
Bro, Twitter was the networking hub back in those days. For all the nerds, dude, Twitter was the place to be.
Exactly. And so he saw some of my work on Twitter that I did for some smaller Call of Duty guys. Mm-hmm. And we were in a PlayStation party, and he was like, hey, like, do you want to hop on a call with the Phase guys?
Yeah. And
I was like, oh, sure. Like, let's see it. Next thing I know, I'm in a Skype call with Apex and Banks, and I'm looking at them, and I'm like, oh,
shitting yourself,
shit, bro.
shaking.
Like, this is real. Like, I'm 14 years old.
Yeah.
Talking to these guys that are, like, peak of our generation for, like, what they were doing.
Yeah.
And they liked some of the graphics, so I ended up making banners for Banks and Apex.
Oh, yeah.
And then a couple of the other guys. And then some of the Optic guys, I worked on their banners and whatnot, too.
Oh, yeah.
So...
do you think that kind of, like, made you feel like you had to do something more?
Yeah, because, like, at that time, like, obviously, like, I didn't grow up, like, silver spoon.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it was tight around the house, so, like, if I wanted something, I had to pay for it. Mm-hmm. And at the time, like, I was making graphics for like smaller guys, and I was getting like $10 to like my mom's PayPal.
Yeah.
I didn't have a PayPal, so I just had them send the money to my mom, and then if I wanted something, I'd be like, hey, how much money's in the PayPal, and then go on with my day.
Yeah.
And then it turned into, when I was doing stuff with those guys, I showed them the video edits that I was doing.
Yeah.
And they were like, okay, cool. So I did a couple collab projects with their guys and was getting paid from that. And I think there was like the one day that like I realized I was actually like doing something was when I checked the PayPal and there's like $600 in there. And I went upstairs and I told my mom, I was like, hey, can you go to the ATM? Like, I want to buy the PlayStation 4. Mm-hmm. And she was like, for what? And I showed her the PayPal, and she was like, like, where's this coming from? Like, she didn't understand. Like, I mean,
thought you were selling drugs.
Like,
they didn't PayPal to your mom.
Like, they just didn't like understand it. I mean, obviously, like, it's such a new thing, especially at that time. Like, working on the internet, getting paid from stuff on the internet was just insane.
Yeah.
So
that's why those guys were so big.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then doing that kind of just showed like, hey, I can make money by doing stuff I enjoy doing. Yeah. But then, like I said, I wanted to be a doctor. I had some family members that were in the medicine field, and they were doing very well for themselves. So I was like, cool. Like, I think that could be fun. Like, I enjoyed like the biomedical classes at Derby. Yeah. Did that test, failed it. They offered me the digital media one. And I was like, cool. Like, I enjoyed doing graphics and videos and whatnot, so I might as well take that course.
Oh, yeah. Look where it got you.
Yeah, and then that's where I met Thaddeus, good old Thaddeus Swift.
Yeah.
And then him and I just kind of, like, realized, like, hey, like, okay, we're the only two people here that truly understand video work. Or even at the time, as much as we could, like, we understood it. Because he was doing his parkour videos and all this other stuff to where that was his lane.
Thad doing parkour videos, dude. I want to see Thad's parkour videos.
Brother, he was cold.
I want to see them. Like, we need to have a viewing one day where we all just sit down, get in front of a VCR, dark room. They wheel out a TV, like, in school, and we just sit down and we watch Daddy is fucking jump on shit.
Yeah. We'll have to find them. I'm pretty sure they're still on YouTube. They're probably on Clyde's.
That'd be a vibe.
Yeah, we met there, and then that's when I kind of obviously started taking video stuff a little bit more serious and photo stuff more seriously. I went through and I was last week, like, I had a notification pop up like 6 years ago or whatever on Facebook. Like, it was like photos I posted of my sister. Yeah. And I'm just like, who the fuck did these? Like, why do they look like this?
Yeah.
It was just like, looking back on that type of stuff, I mean, I'm sure you can relate kind of on the music side.
How I feel when I go back and listen to old shit that I've done. You know? Yeah.
And I'm just like, what is this?
Yeah.
And then, obviously, like, time and time again, you do stuff, you learn something new every single time, so it progressively gets better.
I think it's a good thing, though. That's why I keep a lot of my old shit out, because it's like, even though I don't, actively release music anymore, I still like to go back and see the progress, you know? So, like, as an engineer, I can go back and be like, okay, when I didn't know shit and I was just at your guys' apartment on Logic fucking around with shit, trying to make it work, this is what I was doing. Yeah. And, like, this is how far I've came. I think it's good to have that type of, like resource to look back at.
And that's where, like, when people go through, like, on their Instagram and they'll archive, like, their old stuff, it's like, dude, leave that. Like, show your progression throughout stuff. I mean, you can still go on YouTube and see my very first music video, my second music video. Like, all those are still public. Yeah. And
I mean, don't get me wrong, bro. I feel like, as somebody that, like, once you hit that level of having a career in that field, and you realize, like, you have to create a business, you have to create a brand. If you weren't thinking about that when you started, then I understand why people will go back and, like, flush their shit out.
And I guess it can, like, I'm more thinking of just, like, showing progression. I'm not thinking of, like, subject matter of the song. I mean, obviously, if you're Tony and whatnot.
Shout out Tony, bro.
Yeah, shout out Tony. He flexing.
All right, look, we're going to use this as a fucking lesson right here. Ready? If you're an artist, don't fucking change your name every 2 weeks. You hear me?
17 name shawty.
Pick something that's going to last for 10 plus years and stick with that motherfucker until you can't no more. Exactly. If you change your name every 2 weeks, nobody's going to know how to find your music. You might, get this cool little mysterious aesthetic about you, but it's always going to be hard for somebody to realize, like, when you're dropping or when you're, like, doing something and you want people to pay attention and not enough people are going to pay attention. And then you're going to feel bad about it and you're not going to want to make music anymore. So, like, just don't, like, just be consistent. Pick something, and even if you start to like fall out with that idea, just write it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because in the long term, you know, like, it's gonna work out better. You know. But
well,
if you
changing it like once you're a little bit more established, and you can just be like on your socials, like, hey, like, this is why I'm changing it. I mean,
yeah,
like,
and that goes with like the professional, like if you have to flush out your brand or whatever. But when I'm say like don't change your name, I mean like every 2 weeks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like don't go through like, oh, I'm gonna make different type of music, so we gotta make a whole new artist.
Yeah.
You know, unless your stick is like making artists that nobody knows who the artist is, and it's just random pages on Spotify.
Yeah.
If that works for you, that's cool. But for most people, that doesn't work.
well, and it won't bring in like that revenue source, like, especially because a lot of people are aiming to get to that one point. Like,
Really?
yeah, if you can take like a Hank Trill and you blow up that name, but then you create a different like meme style, you blow up that name, then of course like that will stay consistently like bringing you in money, which that's not
like
a bad
that
idea.
SpongeBob shit that's going on. You know,
Like,
but if you're trying to pursue being an artist, like seriously be an artist as you, and you're trying to do it as a career, like no bullshit. At the end of the day, if you're trying to be an artist as a career, you're doing it to make money.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, when it comes down to it, when it is paying your bills, everything you do as an artist is going to be a business move to bring income into your account. If you're not doing that, you're not going to be living, you know?
Exactly.
So you have to, you can't like bullshit with that, you know? That's why being consistent is super important, and picking a name that can write out and sticking with that idea, even if you're falling out with that idea, and just making it work to the best of your ability is the best that you can do.
But also know when to kill it. Like, that's another thing too, to like double back on that of like writing it out. Also, like if you full-heartedly believe that like, okay, like this other one will work better, or like this other idea. I mean, that's kind of like what I had to do with Manage to Create, essentially, was, you know, how I started it, basically trying to help artists and do that lane of things.
Yeah.
And then I realized like it's cool, but also right now it just makes sense to do corporate and stick to that lane, because that's where the money is right now.
Yeah, you got to be able to pivot for sure.
Yeah.
You know, I think in terms of being an artist, like there's a really bad epidemic of people trying to look like industry plants.
Yeah.
You know, like everybody's seen people like Nas and you know, other kids that have came out and gone that would be considered industry plants, and they want to create that like level of mystery that comes with not knowing anything about their background or not seeing any previous music before. And so it's like, okay, we're gonna make a new TikTok and make a new artist name and drop this song, and if it doesn't do well, then fuck it. We're gonna go make a new artist name, make a new TikTok, drop the same song. If it doesn't do well, then fuck it. You know, it's like it's became a gimmick, and I think that's like part of the reason why music seems so washed out. It's just like, you know, like if everybody built their art off of what their art is and not just trying to get, you know, a quick little whatever, it would be a lot more like genuine, and we'd get a lot better music out of it too. You know.
And that's where like kind of the wave has been seeming to go again lately, is like back into that more conscious rap and more lyrical type of stuff. Like you don't have your pumps anymore. You don't have like, yeah, they're still out there, but they're not as prevalent.
I have a hot take. I think there's room for the pumps, bro.
There is,
bro, because listen, I understand how people can listen to Lil Pump now and be like, oh, Lil Pump, like he's the worst rapper ever. Like all these rappers are like Lil Pump. Like he is the like poster child for what rap shouldn't be, right?
Yeah.
But in 2017, when I'm scrolling through SoundCloud and I'm fucking watching the No Jumper vlogs, and Adam's out doing acid in the woods and shit, and then he's going on tour with these kids and they're going crazy and it's just super high energy. Like it was the same thing with the Phase guys when they came up. You know, it's like there's a lane for that.
So hear me out though.
Do we need people out here that are playing video games for a living all fucking day, sniping people all day? It's not an active skill that's gonna make you better in society. But there's a lane for it, because there's kids out there that are gonna watch those people and get motivated and do better from that, right?
And that's where like the DeAdrian Hardings and those guys are coming in right now. Because look at him, Peach, Balin Living, like their group. They're making music now. Like hands down, DeAdrian is the biggest artist out of Kansas right now.
Yeah.
Like
hip hop artists.
Yeah, definitely hip hop. Like,
well,
because like,
okay, hold on. You think DeAdrian's bigger than T-Rell?
Stream wise, number to number
Number to number songs, like number to number. number to number songs.
Like,
he has more fans, yes, because he's a YouTuber.
Yeah.
But when we're talking about strictly artists, like, does he have more music fans than T-Rell has?
But his video fans are music fans. I mean, you look at him, his song hit 500,000 streams in a week. And then, I mean, he has, like, I mean, I'm not looking at it right now, but last I knew he had 1.5 million monthly listeners.
Yeah. I'm not discrediting him, bro.
But true artists, yeah, T-Rell. Like, I'll give T-Rell that. Like,
Okay.
if we're looking at, like, true artists.
And now I'm in my head like, damn, like, are we allowed to say that what is like a true artist? Because
True.
Realistically, like, bro,
Like music, okay, let's look at it.
He's
music
going to the
based.
studio and he's recording and he's dropping music videos. Like he's doing what artists do, you know? Like he's like, it doesn't matter if like I listen to it or you listen to it or if it's like music that's going to be in the club or whatever.
True.
He has a fan base, like, just like Pump. They have a fan base of people that like to listen to their music because it makes them feel good. So,
Well, and the shit,
you know?
now in the same light, DDG. DDG started off as that YouTuber lane and has transitioned more heavily into
I think
music.
DDG is a great example of how to transition.
Oh, 100%. I think DDG is the perfect example of how to build an audience. Like,
Yeah.
Like, I 100% think, like, if you're a small artist, you need to be doing kind of the stuff that even the Adrian's, not like the pranks and stuff like that, but like at least just showing your life and like vlogging and like music nowadays. And it's always kind of been more of like a personal connection type of thing. Like, you like most artists because you like their backstory and you hear it throughout their music and everything. Nowadays, some of these artists aren't really talking about their life much in the music if they're doing kind of like the Lil Pump route, but they're showing it in their vlogs. They're showing it in, like, that's how you're building that personal connection.
Yeah. Their TikToks, their posts,
Yeah,
whatever.
like Instagram. You don't have to do a full-length 30-minute vlog. Like,
People used to post vlogs on YouTube every day. People used to vlog on YouTube every day.
Yeah, I mean, shit, DDG was one of, like, doing the, like, daily vlogs and all that other stuff. I mean, like, I personally witnessed them doing all of that. I mean, I shot some of them.
Yeah.
Like, doing, like, seeing that and, like, how, like, business oriented, like, they were with it was just like, okay. Like, that's how this shit needs to be ran. Is like, yeah, they are a person and like showing off their life, but it's like they have their on camera person versus just like them off camera. Yeah. I mean, shit, Vicky, same way. Like, you look at her on the camera and she's just 0 to 100. Yeah. And then we'll be sitting in a hotel room doing whatever. She's just chill, like sitting there playing on her phone, not doing nothing.
So out of everybody that you've had the opportunity to cross paths with, who do you think is the most, like, who is the most down to earth? Like, the most humble, the most fun to be around, just made you feel like a friend?
I would say, like, most of the artists luckily, most artists I got to work with were very humble. I mean, like, Trippy, we didn't have a whole lot of interactions with him outside of him being in the studio with us for that video. Yeah. But I mean, he came in and played Love Letter to You 4, like front to back, plus all the tracks that didn't make it. And he was just like a human, like,
just vibing.
Yeah. And like, I always heard, like, before we met him, like, oh, he's an asshole, this, other. No, dude, he was like just genuine. He didn't act Hollywood. He didn't do nothing, like, and he was very serious about it. Yeah. Like, he came in, he caught the vibe of the room and kind of got ready to do his verse, did his verse, and then hung out the rest of the night, like, while we shot the music video and everything. Block Boy, same type of thing. Like, he was very genuine, very nice about everything. I mean, there was a time where, like, when I initially started working with him, it was just directly through his manager. And then at one of the shoots, he stopped me and was like, bro, what's your number? Like, my manager's not sending me all the pictures. Like, I know that there's other pictures. And so I just started directly working through him, like, sending him the pictures, and then he'd tell me, like, when and where to be and whatnot. Obviously, like, Austin, AK. Yeah. I mean, shit, just talking to him today. I mean,
dude, Austin, it's hard. He is just like a normal fucking person, bro. Like, because I don't know, like, when you guys were working with him, I saw it and I was like, dude, I've seen this guy before, you know, and I thought it was cool. And then, like, I realized, like, oh, like, these guys are like becoming friends with this dude, you know what I mean? And then he came down here and was just like kicking it, and I'm just like, this is one of the homies. This is so weird, you know. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I kind of agree. Most people that I've crossed paths with have been pretty
Yeah.
just
It's
like normal.
of course, like you get your occasional like divas within it. I mean, but it's funny because like a lot of the ones that were like that, they weren't as big as some of these other people.
It's
like,
usually people on the side.
Yeah.
You know?
Like they want to act like they think this is how this person acts, so they act like, and it's just like, yo, no.
I have a specific person in mind. I saw a video of him today and it just made me laugh, dude. And I was just like, it's somebody that you and I both know. And it's like, this guy has never really, like, he's kind of been like a industry dude, but he's never like been the artist. You know what I mean? And then he switched roles and is like trying to do this whole shtick, and it's like it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, I got a couple of those. It's just like, dude, like, why?
Yeah.
Like, and especially if like you already are in the industry and you're like doing big things, working with big people, and then you're like, okay, like I see another source of revenue, so let me be an artist.
It's like, but my thing is, if you're gonna be in the industry and like be around all those people and act like a fucking idiot, and then go try to be like the person that those people are supposed to be investing in and giving attention to, like, come on, bro. If you go and fuck over half of LA and then sit there and try to be an LA artist, like nobody's gonna fuck with you.
Yeah,
you know, that's kind of how I see about it.
Yeah, so there's, like, it was crazy to see like the different levels of it out there for sure. And that's the one thing that's nice about here is, for the most part, like, I mean, obviously we have some people here that are a little bit more trying to be Hollywood-esque versus others, but for the most part, that's what I like about Wichita too, is it's very genuine here. Like,
everybody here is pretty down to earth. There are a couple of people that you know,
but a lot of it too is like, is it them themselves or is it just they're young in it? Like, a lot of it does come with the experience, like knowing like you'll get 10 times further in your career being a genuine, humble person versus being a dick.
And you're also going to act like more of a dick until you get into the room with somebody that's going to put you in check. You know?
Well, like we've talked about it before, like I can't be hypocritical about it, and like I'm not afraid to admit that like there was times where I was like that. Like I thought like, oh, I was bigger than what I was, or whatever the case was. I mean, think about being from Kansas, moving to LA that young. Like, dude, I had so many people like filling up my head with like, oh, you're doing it, you're just at the third. So I thought I was like, oh yeah, like I'm getting there, I'm big. And so like I'm acting like it, and then get shit on. Like people are like, they check you, and which it's good. Like, but then you get those people that get checked and they take it like, oh, so offensively, this, that. And it's just like,
when your ego's so strong that like you can't take criticism, and every bit of criticism breaks down your mental. It's like you got to do something about it. You know, and I think that's a serious thing that not a lot of people talk about either. Is the struggle of like maintaining your ego when you're trying to do something creatively. Because I know probably 90% of our friends have struggled with some sort of ego personality disorder type of thing throughout the process of becoming like a creative. You know, like a lot of times you see people get this God complex and think they're God. You see a lot of people that just become like this super alpha and never like will make a compromise, you know? And
which like there is grounds to stand on like for that, like
sure.
Especially for like I mean podcast Know Your Worth. Like there is times where like it is good to put your foot down, but also I mean it's better to
be ignorant though. Like that's the biggest thing about knowing your worth, right? It goes both ways. You have to know the value that you bring to the table, but you also have to know your weaknesses, because if you're too afraid to acknowledge your weaknesses and admit that you have things you need to work on or things that you might not be so great at, and you try to tackle those, you know, with the force that you're gonna fucking, you know, just beat it down, you're gonna fuck up, you know? And I think a lot of us have been in positions, and a lot of our learning experiences have come from situations we put ourselves in where we might not have necessarily been prepared to take on what we took on. And, you know, like, when you have a hella big ego and you're in that situation, you're gonna fuck that project up 9 times out of 10, because you're not gonna make the compromise and learn. You're not gonna spend the extra time to sit down and get it right when you fuck it up.
Yeah.
When the client messages you back for a revision, you're gonna argue and you're gonna demand that your vision is the right vision. You know what I mean?
Well, that and like to even go with that is like knowing your mistakes, like owning that shit.
Yeah,
like,
you have to be aware, bro.
Yeah. Like
That's
if
the biggest thing.
there's a project where, like as you said, like you like say I go and work with a bigger client, like commercial wise, and I'm like, oh yeah, I can do this. And I mean, there's a lot of times where honestly, like I will say I know how to do something that I don't, but if it's within reason, like I know I can learn how to do that.
Yeah.
Like before that shoot or even on the shoot, whether it's setting up interviews or whatever the case is, like.
You have to have
Like,
flexibility.
Yeah, it's like I will go and try my best to do it because, I mean, there's no reason to not try it.
Exactly.
Like,
I think a lot of people get stuck in this idea of like, oh, I know what's right and it has to be this way or else it's not going to be right. But realistically, it could be right a number of ways. It's just a matter of how you approach it.
Yeah.
And if you're just so stuck on that one mindset that your ego is telling you is the way, then you're not going to be able to make the changes you need to make to adapt to what other people need.
Yeah.
And you know, not to cut you off, but as a creative, I feel like we've all kind of been through that, because we've seen super highs, we've seen super lows.
Yeah.
And I think for me, you know, I'm sorry, Mom, but psychedelics helped me understand that
100%.
process a lot of like, damn, bro. The first time I took shrooms, I literally so I'll tell the story real quick. I take shrooms. I go to my friend's house because I only like to like be around a specific group of people when I was doing things back in the day. And I took these shrooms at the studio. I go to my friend's house. We're sitting outside. A bad trip starts just because like I had to wait on him. It was summer. I had no AC. I was sweating. It was bad. He starts telling me about his work, about his job that he did that day. And I can't even understand what he's saying to me. I zoom out, like we're sitting outside. All of a sudden my vision zooms out above us. And I'm like looking down on top of us from his backyard. It zooms out again. I'm looking down on his block. It zooms out again. I'm looking down on the city. It zooms out again. All the way until like the earth. And then it keeps going until it's nothing. And it's like, this is what you are in the universe. And I was just like, holy shit, dude. And I sat with that thought and that vision for like 8 hours. It wouldn't go away. I went home. I laid in bed, just waited for it. And I was like, bro, I'm going to fucking kill myself if this doesn't stop.
Yeah.
And that experience alone, like it showed me like no matter how big you think you are, no matter how tough, how hot you think you're doing, at the end of the day, bro, we're just a fucking speck of dust flying through space, and that shit isn't shit. You know?
Dude, so similar to that, like when I was in LA and we did shrooms and we were headed back, we were stuck in rush hour traffic. And my same type of thing where I'm looking out the window at 5 other lanes of cars, and I'm just like, wait, there's a body or two in each one of these cars, and they're on their own path. They're doing their own thing. And that's where I'm just like, and we're all out here in LA doing our own thing. Some people might just be working a 9 to 5. I mean, shit, they might have just born here. They're native here. They're not out here to chase the dreams like we are, or whatever the case is. Like, then I'm just like, holy shit. Like, there is, I mean, thousands of cars right here with us. Multiple thousands of people right here. And then I started talking to Thad about it. And Thad's like, shut up, don't say that, don't say that. And so then he started thinking about it. And we're all just like, I'm just staring at people. And I started playing this game with myself. Like, I'll just stare at somebody and be like, trying to guess what they do in their life. And I'm just like, wanting to roll down my window and ask, like, what do you do? Like the video where people run up to him with the mic.
But it's just Jacob on shrooms, just leaning out of the car. What's your career, buddy? What are you doing? What are you doing for a living?
Are you an accountant?
It's like, oh, I'm homeless.
It's like, shrooms, like, they'll get you right. And that's where, like, the whole decriminalization and all that stuff of it, like,
I'm not advocating for people to take shrooms, because that'll fuck your brain up too, bro. Like, if you're not careful, it will. And if you're not prepared for that type of experience, it will. Like, it fucked me up, bro. Like, it wasn't fun. It wasn't pleasant. I wasn't enjoying myself. It was scary as hell. And it really fucked up how I perceived life for like a year, bro. Like, I was afraid to do any type of psychedelic after that for almost a year and a half.
Yeah.
And before that, I had done acid numerous times, so I felt like I was traversed and experienced enough, you know?
Yeah.
I think ultimately like I would remind myself of that anytime I felt like I was like, like really, really good. And I still do, but I also had to learn like your ego can build a confidence that is beneficial. So
Yeah,
you have to
100%.
find a balance, kind of like what you were saying earlier. Like there's a balance between absolutely no ego and knowing, the value that you bring to a table, right?
Yeah.
Because if you just think if you have an anti-ego and you think you're worthless and you don't have any type of self-worth or whatever, you're just going to be like fucking yourself over with every move you make.
Yeah.
You're not going to be charging the right prices to people for your services. You're not going to be pushing yourself to be the best you can be. You're just going to be like moping around and sad and shit, you know? And I think that's like the biggest thing that helped me was like for a very long time growing up, I felt like I didn't have any self-worth and I was like suicidal and depressed and all this other shit. And then that like, it didn't put me back in that state, but it was like, it made me think like, oh, it doesn't matter if I'm fucking dead or not because we're all just this, you know? So it's like, I might as well like do as much as I can to leave as big as an impact as I can.
Yeah.
Because even if we're just a fucking granular molecule floating through somebody's fucking necklace on some other fucking dimension, I would rather, like try to outreach to that with impact than not.
Yeah. I mean, you look at people like, there's people that were just like us. There's just specks of people, but we still look at them as big figures. You can name anybody and everybody like that you look up to, like shit, a Drake.
Yeah.
Or just, there's so many people. Like
it's like a collective conscious, It's like if you can leave that good or bad of an impact on that many people, it's like you become something that's more than you, right? Like the idea of you becomes something more, right?
Yeah.
The idea of Drake is not what he is, bro. Like he's not fucking floating around his house and everything he touches turns into like 1 million streams. Like that's not. I guarantee you, he's in there fucking basketball shorts, telling his kid to stop jumping on the couch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the idea is that our consciousness perceive these influencers or things that have influence on us as becomes like our legacy. That's the impact that we leave. I think that's kind of what that made me realize.
Yeah. So what's your thought on kind of same thing, but like release the music that is like all right or safe for perfection? Like
not for perfection. No, don't do that. But so if you're an artist and you've never dropped any music before, these are 5 steps that you can take to get to a point of release. And I'm just gonna freestyle this, okay? Step 1, make an Instagram account. You know how many people come and record with me that don't have Instagrams, bro? They just come and record. Like they don't fucking. If they post music, they don't post it anywhere. They they don't have any Instagram. They don't have no Twitter. They don't have nothing. Like they'll post it on their Snapchat or send it to their friends. And it's like there's one artist that has a ton of music with me, 2 of them. And I've been pushing them every session. Bro, make your Instagram right now. Like, we're not even going to start until you make your fucking Instagram.
Yeah.
One of them deleted their Instagram. And I'm like, and he comes in, he's like, oh, I want to be serious. I want to start dropping. And it's like, bro, you need a platform to present your brand on.
Yeah.
Instagram's the easiest one to do that. Make an Instagram, okay? You don't have to post every day if you don't want to, but if you do, it'll help. You don't have to make videos every day if you don't want to, but if you do, it'll help. You have to find a goal. That's step 2. Find a goal as being an artist. Before you drop any music, you gotta have a goal. Are you gonna be somebody that posts videos on YouTube and gets a lot of video views? You know what I mean? Like they're gonna have your videos on their TV when they're kicking it with friends, smoking at home. Are you gonna be somebody that strictly pushes Spotify and gets put on playlists and is that nighttime drive type of artist that people want to listen to when they're sad or whatever? Are you gonna be that artist that strictly posts Apple Music and maybe attacks another platform to kind of get a following there? You know what I mean? Because I don't see a lot of people that are just solely Apple Music artists,
Yeah.
There's different lanes that you can take. You got to find a goal that works best with what you do. So if you're somebody that spends all their day on Twitter, maybe you should try to build a Twitter following and push Apple Music. If you're somebody that watches hella YouTube videos, start a YouTube channel, and that gives you another platform to post your content on if you want to make that content, you know? So have a goal for where you want to bring your audience into and stick with that as your main drive, right?
Yeah.
It's always good to go with those other platforms too, but have a main focus to focus on.
Yeah.
Step 3, record good music. right? Like, it doesn't have to be perfect. None of us can make a perfect song, you know? I think if you can make if you can make a song that you want to play over and over and over again, and you get a good feeling when you listen to it, you send it to your friends, they all listen to it, you kick it with them, they're already playing it on their phone, you don't have to tell them to put it on, nobody's skipping it, nobody's like, you know, oh, that shit cool, you know? Like, if you can make something that everybody fucks with, then you know it's releasable, bro. Like, don't even think about, oh, well, I gotta change this little ad-lib because I can kind of hear it or whatever. Like, if nobody else has ever brought that ad-lib up to you ever, it doesn't exist, you know? That's kind of how I see it. Make a good song. Once you can do that, figure out what got you to that point of making that song, and try to not replicate it, but incorporate that into your process so that that energy flows, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know what creates that good vibe when you're making a song.
Yeah.
Okay. Step 4, save up those songs. You know, I would save up at least 10 songs that you think are droppable before I'd even think about a release schedule.
Yeah.
Because it's like, then you can see which friends fuck with what. You can kind of send them out. You can drop snippets if you've been building your brand like you were supposed to in step 1 and 2. You know what I mean? And kind of collect some data on what is going to be the best to push, right? And then this goes along with like setting your goal too. If your goal is to get a lot of attention, you need to go for something that's commercial and is going to drive a lot of audience on the first drop.
Yeah.
But if you're not going for that and you're going for something more personal and you want to build an audience that relates to you as a person, then maybe go with something that's like introductory or a little more like vulnerable, you know? Or if you just want to fucking post whatever you want to post, then just pick your favorite 1 out of the 10 and drop that, you know? It all goes along with that goal. But step 5 would just be dropping the song and not uploading it on SoundCloud and then scheduling it for release. And then, you know, dropping a song includes planning a month ahead, releasing it through DistroKid or Root Node or United Masters, whatever you're going through, setting the release date, submitting to Spotify playlists, making sure everything comes out on the same day, making sure you have content lined up to help promote that release, making sure you have some sort of plan to keep that being on people's feeds for the next minimum 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whether you're posting an ad and running that ad, whether you're just making consistent posts every day, whether you're posting on your story and interacting in comments, you know, as long as you're getting your song in front of people for at least 2 weeks every day, then if you do that every time you drop, it's gonna build somewhat of a following.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is pretty much the advice that I give artists that come and record here that haven't ever dropped. And, you know, out of a majority of the people that have came and recorded with me for the first time, a lot of them have been pretty successful for first year artists. You know what I mean? One of them has gotten a distribution deal. Another one has done a pretty good amount of streams and has knocked out like several albums within the last year. And I think is one of the best artists I record. Yeah. You know, I think it's just a matter of like, but both of those artists have 2 different brands too. So, you know, one's moving faster than the other just because of how they're approaching things. But this other one has a lot of longevity. So it's like, you know, you got to understand what you're doing in the process too. And make sacrifices where that sacrifice is due. And don't get in your head either, you know. That was a long 5-step list of how to drop music. But, you know, that's, for first-time artists, that's just my advice, bro. Like, don't think too much about it. Put it on paper, get a plan, and just knock the plan out. That's the easiest way to get it done, you know? When I was dropping an album back in the day, back in the day, bro, we're fucking old now. I would write down all the songs that I was doing, you know? Every year, I would write down all my goals for the year. I wouldn't always knock out all those goals, but, like, I would get 80% of the list done, you know? You just have to, like, treat it like a business, put it on paper, and knock it down. Don't think about it. Because if you're thinking about dropping a song, you're not dropping the song. Or you're not doing anything productive to make that song come out. Or better, you know?
Well, that kind of, like, I asked that because within the video and, like, social media side that I'm on, like don't aim, like, I personally try to tell people, like, it's okay to aim for perfection, but if you don't hit it, don't worry about it. Like, because mainly on social media, obviously that's what I deal with, like, majority of the time, is it doesn't live forever. Like, it's of course it's posted forever, but it only lives for, a week? Like, that's how long it stays in the algorithm. So I'm always telling people, like, and I always fell victim to, like, my mental being like, oh no, like, I need to change the color on this a little bit. I need to cut this by, like, 3 frames so the transition's cleaner, all this other stuff. Like, no, like, just post the shit.
Yeah.
Like, that's where, like, at least on our end, like with the social medias, like, don't like strive for perfection or strive for perfection. But if you don't hit that mark, it's okay to still post it, because posting 100 good videos is better than posting one great video.
I'm gonna keep it a buck though, bro. Quality control is important. You better not be posting no bullshit.
Well, yeah, 100%.
Like if you have a song and it's dog shit and you know it's dog shit, don't drop it. Just drop it, bro.
Yeah, 100%.
Or if you have a video and you don't like the video at all, don't post it.
Yeah,
just to
100%,
post it.
100%.
You know,
like there's still like like that quote comes from this guy Adrian. He's a big social media guy right now. He actually blew up recently in the past like 2 years, but he teaches a lot on social media as well. Like someone like I'll look up to on for like video styles and stuff like that. You might have, I mean, you've probably seen this stuff just by not even noticing it. It's like more of the filmic style. I think the big video that blew up was like he put the car mount on his car and like was filming and talking about it, and then some other stuff. I think Blaine sent me it originally, but that's where he was talking about like, dude, like just get videos posted. I mean, he posted a video. It was his birthday video yesterday, and he was talking and like matched the voiceover perfectly. Like he was doing like voiceover recording work, and then he started getting off time and he started laughing, and the video of him is still just talking normally. He goes, nah, so you guys might have noticed like there was something off about this. This is a voiceover recording. Like I forgot to plug in my mic yesterday for this video, but I'm still going to post it anyways because, you know, I still want to show you guys it's okay to post stuff. And it was just funny because, like at first, like you're watching it and it's like, okay, it's kind of on like, me personally, I could tell that it was voiceover. Yeah. Like your other like normal people would just be like, oh, like it was just my internet's slow or something like that. Yeah. But yeah, then he switched it up and was just like, oh yeah, no, like this is a voiceover. Like I forgot to plug in my mics yesterday. Yeah.
I think I learned that too, like through posting like content for the studio or just even trying to build my brand and stuff. By the way, knowyourword.com, knwurwrth.com. You can get a beanie like this. Very, very soon you can get a shirt like this. It says your emotions are showing on the back, so you can show everybody you're fucking depressed.
It's WORTH.
That's what I said.
No, you said URTH.
URWRTH.com.
Cool.
Knowyourword.com. Back to what you were saying. I learned a lot. You just like, you know, I used to think like, damn, I gotta fucking script it. I gotta, you know, and I still do that. Yeah. Like for certain videos, I will do that. But even just like throwing my phone down and just being like, yo, I just fucking dropped this beanie. Yeah. Like I mean, it works. You know what I mean? Like it just little shit like that, bro. If you understood that all you had to do was take your phone, set it down like this, and be like, yo, what's good? Make sure you guys book the studio. We got openings this week. Boom. Done. You know, drop it on the Instagram. You guys will get bookings. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's where a lot of people, even like I said, even myself, like fell victim to it of like, oh, I have to use my professional camera. This, no, bro. Like, and even with like music, like I can.
Don't get me wrong though. Like using good equipment for videos like that. Like I'm not saying don't do that because we need that. Like, we 100%. Need quality content. 100%. And that quality content will go further in the algorithm, like off rip, than most of the other shit will. Yeah. Like phone video, like in my experience, posting a video from your phone, it takes a little bit longer for it to get into people's feeds. But if it registers the video as a higher quality, like put together video, then it usually does a lot more like right off the rip.
So it kind of is very hit or miss though from what I've experienced. Like, I mean, for Kobe's, like they're a good one I can always use an example for this is like, our first handful of videos, like, they did well. I mean, they were shot on my camera. But then there was a couple that I started shooting on my phone when I was there. Like, it'd be me sitting here, like, filming the chef or whatever. Yeah. Just making it look like an experience video. Yeah. And, like, those would do very well just because there was more of a personal connection with that. And so it's just kind of, like, your videos of, like, the one of you, like, on your phone talking about your beanie. Like, that one would do better, in my opinion, than like a professional video of it if you're trying to be more personable about it. Yeah. Like my favorite thing to do for like different brands right now, we're working on it actually with one of the coffee shops, is the video's not even about the coffee shop. Yeah. Like they're going to be featured in it, but we're going to get a female and have her do like a day in the life type of thing where she just kind of does like her getting ready and everything, but then ends up at that coffee shop.
Yeah.
And it's just not pushing like the one thing super heavy. It's just like people will see it and be like, oh, cool. Like she went there. I want to go there.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how like a lot of people, even with like music nowadays, like you see like some of the people that, I mean, you even record here, they get their songs played at the NBA or like at those games and stuff like that. Or, I mean, we've had friends that are in Netflix shows or on ESPN. Like that, it's just planting seeds at the end of the day. And that's what even like the lower quality phone videos, I wouldn't even say they're lower quality because, like I said, sometimes they get picked up in the algorithm better because they feel more of a personable connection.
And phones are so powerful, bro. Like I could shoot fucking 4K, 60 frames a second on my phone, bro. Shit's stupid.
Yeah,
Shit's
and that's
stupid.
where, like,
with 3 different lens options.
Yeah, like I try to tell people, like, if you don't have the cameras, like, pick up your phone. It's okay. Like, if you don't have the budget to pay for me to come out and do your content, at least start somewhere.
Yeah.
Like, there's no reason to not film.
And use your back camera on your phone,
Oh, 100%.
That's a cheat code.
100%,
Cheat code. If you're using your front camera, you're fucking up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, even with, like, the best lighting and everything, like, no, your back camera.
Shoot everything in your camera roll. We're just dropping game for all the social media people out here.
Exactly.
Everything in your camera roll, back camera, 90% of the time.
Yeah. Like, that's... And also, make sure you turn off your HDR settings. Those are a big one nowadays because...
that fucked me up, huh?
Yeah.
That did fuck me up.
Yeah.
But I don't get that issue when I post directly from my phone.
That is true. But it will clean it up a little bit more. Like, and also so there's another setting in your phone so it's either highest or most compact or most compatible. Like, there are 2 different options. If you do the compact one, it's in HVEC versus just going into MP4. And so if you do the HVEC, it'll compress it weird. Versus if you just change it to most compatible, it makes it an MP4 or MOV, whichever the one it is. I think it's MOV actually. And that's just most compatible across all platforms to where your video will look consistent. I mean, I switched up how I export my videos nowadays to MOV because it's uncompressed video versus MP4 being compressed. This saves the audio.
I always have trouble exporting MP4s and getting them on my phone, bro. Like, it's always the worst thing.
Yeah, and MOV, like, they're bigger file size, but for a reason. Yeah. Like, it's realizing, like, what makes sense.
Do you think, so I guess, I mean, one of my fears with having a bigger file size and posting to social media is that it's not going to render correctly for other people. Not render, but it's not going to, like, buffer right. Oh, you know, like, it's going to take longer to load or it's going to be, like, slower or laggy, you know?
Instagram's going to compress regardless.
Yeah.
Like, so it's either you're giving them a not so high quality video and letting them compress it, or you're giving them a high quality video and letting them compress it. Yeah, that's kind of where because I was that same way. Like, okay, instead of rendering it 4K, let's just do 1080, like, and compress the 4K down. Yeah. But then I realized, like, cool, I'm compressing it, then I'm uploading it to Instagram and they're compressing it. Yeah. And it goes the same way with, like, audio on videos as well. Yeah. Like, and this is all like 10% stuff. Like, at the end of the day, you might not really notice it, but you might as well just do it just to kind of do it. Yeah. But who was I listening to? It was one of the documentary guys. Yeah. And he was talking about using audio in your documentaries, about, like, instead of downloading it for YouTube, get it like the wave, because then, of course, that's not compressing it multiple times. Because if you're downloading it from YouTube, it's already compressed. Yeah. And then you put it in your software and you'll export it and it compresses. Then you upload it to YouTube and it just, like, shits out the audio completely. Yeah. Versus you either purchase it or you find, like, the free link to the wave, you put it in, and then you export in MOV, and then it's uncompressed there. And then you only let there be one stage of compression. And that's one thing that, like, I've noticed, like, again, it's like 10% stuff. Like,
it's kind of, I mean, yeah, it's kind of like the same thing with mastering. Yeah. It's like when everything, because each streaming service has their own, you know, like, integrated output level of volume pretty much. And mastering, like, you have to, like, make sure that, you know, like, you're either above or whatever. Yeah. Like, I don't really want to get into the specifics of it, but, like, Spotify, for instance, they gain match everything to, like, -14 LUFS. You know what I mean? So as an audio engineer, when that system first came out, like we were having to, or the rule was to master everything to -14. But doing that makes you less competitive, because if that's what they're compressing stuff to, the louder stuff is going to still seem louder. It's just going to be more compressed, right?
Yeah.
So like we have to master things now. Like most people shoot for like -8, -9 LUFS, and then that way it's across the board. It's going to be loud enough to be competitive on all the streaming services. And when it gets brought down, it's not like, you know what I mean? It's going to be on par with other things when it's get thrown into when it gets thrown into a playlist. Sorry. Okay. I think sometimes -8, -9 could be a lot. -9 is a good sweet spot on like heavy bass, like loud tracks, but on something that's very like acoustic, or you know, it's just very dynamic, where you know there might be a little bit of drums in this section, but it's not throughout the whole song. It can be kind of hard to get it that loud without fucking having issues, you know. So I usually, my spot is like, I usually shoot for around like -11 to -8. That's like the range I try to be in. Sometimes I'll go like -12 if I have to, but ultimately like I try to shoot for louder, just because when you're mastering, you're trying to get it as loud as you can without losing any of the quality of the song. Yeah. But also like, if you try to compress it down to that -14 and then go put it on Spotify and they upload it and they don't do anything with it, and it's not like, it's just going to seem quieter. You know what I mean? Because it's not going to have the data of being louder. Yeah. It's probably a bad way of explaining it, but that's the best way I could explain it off the top of my head. So it's like the same thing though.
Yeah. And it's just like knowing those little technicalities. And that's where studying your craft comes into play. I mean, and there's never, I mean, we always talk about this one, where it's like, you never know everything. And once you think you know everything, that's where you're fucking up.
That's where the ego's getting you, bro.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I'm always the one to admit, like, dude, I learn something new every single time we do something. I mean, even setting up this podcast, I mean, we learned about the F3. I mean, it's a new piece of gear, cool. We're learning about that. Yeah. Like, I know, like, for you, it might be, I don't know if it's a little bit harder for you, just because, like, your stuff is very controlled, but also, I mean, I know you still play around with like different effects and everything like that as well.
I'm always trying to do something new. Like, I never try to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, if I feel like, it gets boring for me if I feel like I'm being cookie cutter. Yeah. But as an engineer, bro, like, there's a lot of people out here that are just throwing your shit on a template and calling it good, bro. Yeah. Like, there are more bad engineers out there than there are good engineers. 100%. But I try to treat every song differently. Like I don't. You know, I'm not going to sit here and say I do everything from scratch and there's no template and I just make a bunch of audio tracks and then I record and then I put all the plugins on. No, bro. Like, I have a template built off of my workflow that makes it efficient for me to reach the tools that I need to reach. Yeah. But I don't set those to the same shit. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I'm always changing it based on what I need it for. Yeah. And so in that learning process, like, I try out new plugins, you know what I mean? Like, I switch my compressors out every couple months just to experiment. For different types of voices, I use different types of compressors, different types of songs. I use different type of compression techniques.
Well, even with like the hardware stuff that we have, like, I mean,
that's another thing. Like, in studios, like, a lot of the studios I've been to, they're always like, oh, just don't touch the vocal chain, don't touch the Neve, don't touch the 1176, whatever it is, you know? But like, I change that for every singer I have, every rapper I have. Like, I literally tune their vocals into it. Like, it's not like a one, you know, sometimes you might have similar voices, so you don't really have to change too much or whatever. Yeah. But it's not a God setting for that. Yeah. You know?
I mean, and that makes sense too, because like the only way I can compare that is like lighting. Yeah. Like, I'm always gonna have to change a setting, whether it's I mean, cameras.
It's the minute details, bro. Like, you can leave just a preset EQ on your vocal, and it will probably sound better than nothing being on there. But if you took that, you know, that cut that you're doing at 6K and moved it down a couple, maybe 1,000 frequencies or whatever, you might be getting the resonance that doesn't need to be there. Yeah. You know, you'll probably be getting a little bit of that if it's on the preset, but if you move it to where it needs to be, you're going to be taking out what needs to be taken out and leaving what needs to be there. Yeah. You know? Yeah. So it's like, you know, and that was something that I struggled with too as an engineer. Like, everybody learning starts with presets.
Oh, 100%.
Like, they start with like a template or whatever. They get something from somebody teaches them how to mix. They get a good mix. They save those settings and they put that on everything. That's what I did when I was learning. But I started like fucking with shit when I was working at home, and I was just like, I'm just gonna change all this shit. No, or what I did is, and this is some game for engineers. I watched a Leslie Braithwaite video on how he mixed Neon Guts with Pharrell and Lil Uzi. And when I started out, that was pretty much like how I built my chain. Like I used the chain he used, and then I changed it for like how my shit was set up at home and what sounded better to me. And that's really what started my like in-depth learning process of engineering, you know? So that Leslie Braithwaite video will help you a ton if you don't know what the fuck you're doing, by the way. Which I don't use that chain now. I don't use that method now, but I do recommend it to people that are trying to learn because it was a very informative and great insight into an industry workflow. You know what I mean? Like the template is actually pretty similar to what I learned to use and how I use my workflow now. You know what I mean? When I went to LA and worked with Casey and was learning from him, like I still had those little the little idea of like there's God settings, like if you know the vocals at the right gain and you're doing all your jobs here, then you should just be able to put your compressor here and it's gonna compress what it needs to compress, right? Like I was like thinking that that's how the process should work, but that's definitely not how it worked, you know? And he kept reminding me, he was like, bro, it's not a setting. Like you don't just put it there. Like you have to like listen to it. You have to use your ear. And I understood what he meant, but it was also frustrating to hear that at the time because I'm in my head, I'm like, well, you know, like knowing the end result, and I think that's something that a lot of new engineers struggle with now is like not knowing how to get to the end result and not even knowing what the end result should be, right? Like taking a bunch of unmixed trash and turning it into something that you don't even know what it's going to be is difficult. So you have to train your ear to get to that point of like, okay, if his voice is like this, like I'm, you know, if it's compressed coming in a little more, I'm gonna compress a little less in the box. You know what I mean? If we're not compressing too much outside of the box, I'm gonna compress a little more. Or if, you know what I mean? Like if it's a more intimate song and he needs more bass in his voice, we're not gonna cut as much of the lows out or whatever, you know? Like it's little decisions like that make a huge difference, you know? And I think that's like being able to be flexible and fluid in those situations is what can create like a good engineer, you know? Not just being so set and egotistical about how you mix, but more or less just being like open to getting the best option out with no matter what you have to do. And also not being afraid to do something. Like I almost said this earlier, you know, like you were saying, like, don't be afraid to just like post a video or, you know, and as an engineer, like don't be afraid to fucking do something in a song that's going to make it sound better, you know? Like don't get stuck on that template. Don't get stuck on your L2 add -4 on the master. Like don't do that shit. Just like, if you think it's going to sound better, but you're afraid to do it because it's not what you're used to, do it. If it sounds better, leave it. You know what I mean? If the client doesn't like it, they're going to tell you. And if you have to change something based on what they want, you're going to have to do that regardless. But in order to get better, you just have to do that type of shit. You have to experiment. You have to just not be afraid to cut out what you want to cut out completely just to see what it sounds like. You have to not be afraid to take off the same compressor you've been using your whole life and change it up for a different one that you've never used before. You know, like you have to be able to do that to understand how you work and what you're good at too, you know? That was a thought that popped up earlier in my head. I wanted to say it, but I didn't want to interrupt you. But, you know, it's just about like being able to be flexible and being able to, understand the growth that you're enduring, right? Like understanding that what you're doing is allowing you to learn and being able to learn from it rather than just getting frustrated and giving up or getting frustrated and going back to what you're used to or whatever. You know, it's very important to put in that extra work to get better.
Well, that's like one thing that is very prevalent. Like, and I know it's kind of within the music side too, is like buying LUTs and buying like presets for photos and videos and all this stuff, or buying effects. And it's like, personally, I've never understood it, mainly on the fact of like I got a free pack one day like sent to my email and I tried it, but they create those packs based on their images. And it's like, if your shooting style is different or you have a different camera that shoots in a different style, like I know it's like, it just doesn't work. Like I always suggest people like, don't buy that. Like you're going to waste your money. You're going to get mad when you see it. Or if you do get it and it does work, it's like, why are you going to have the same style as everybody else? Like if somebody's coming to me for video work, they like my style. And it's like cool if your style is similar to somebody else because obviously like art is all based off of imitation. Like you create your art based on what you enjoy.
Yeah.
And like it's all right to like want to look like somebody else, but also put your own spin on it.
Yeah.
Like, and I know within music, it's all within the same stuff of like, this engineer is going to mix differently than this engineer, and everyone's going to have their own preference. Like, that's why everyone can be within the same space. Like, when people say stuff is like oversaturated, like I can agree to a point, but 90% of the time I don't, because there's not an amazing argument I've heard yet of this is oversaturated, because I'm like, yo,
Have you seen them bitches rapping on TikTok, bro?
like the running ones?
No, the like little white girls rapping on TikTok. You've not seen that, bro?
No, I don't get on TikTok like that.
Oh my god!
I don't.
If you've seen that, you would think hip hop's oversaturated. But
There's a community for everything. Like
I almost want to pull it up and show you.
But you know
bro.
what's crazy? Speaking on TikTok, the AI people, the
Yeah.
NPC people, like
Yeah.
those people.
Yeah.
But you look at it, they still have 20,000 people watching it.
Yeah.
Like,
because it's interesting. It's fucking. It's a robot making content.
yeah.
But
no. The real people like, thank you for the hot dog. Ooh, roses. Those people. Bro.
Oh, yeah, that's gross.
Yeah, I'm talking about like those people. Like they got 20,000.
Yes. Smells so nice.
Yeah, that shit. Like, but there's still people watching it. I mean, I made Bailey watch one for like 10 minutes the other night because I'm just like obviously you have like the guys that are bad at doing it, or like just the people in general that are just bad. But then there was this one girl that like she was just scrolling through TikTok and she popped up and I'm like, yo, for that lane, she's killing it. Like if she had like the outfit on and everything, I'm just like,
Is that productive to society?
nah.
Do we need those content creators in our lives, bro? Like, and I mean, I know I said this about the FaZe guys earlier. Like, do we need people sitting at home playing fucking video? I would love to sit at home and play video games all day.
And you
Get
could
paid for it.
You
know?
could. You just got to dedicate the time to it.
Yeah, but do we need that? Like,
No.
in society, when I'm 70 years old, bro, and I don't know how to work an Xbox fucking 4000. What skills would I have learned if I sat there and was just like quick scoping and trick shotting all day?
I mean,
I would have learned how to spin on a controller. Like,
yeah, but
if think about it, bro. If a kid is in high school, what we were doing in high school, you were learning video work, you were learning graphics design, you were working for people that you were looking up to, you were doing things that built the foundation for the career that you built for yourself. I was doing photography, I was learning graphic design work, I was learning video work, I was in the studio, blah, blah, blah. Kids in high school now are getting on TikTok and just, yes, thank you for the roses. Smells so nice. Like, bro.
But in the same light, look at it. Think about it. Like my dad, he was a construction worker. Mm-hmm. Bro, he sees me picking up a camera. He's like, oh, like, what are you ever going to do with that in your life? Blah, blah, blah. Like, they're not going to, like, they look
It's a skill. That is not a skill, bro.
Yeah,
There's
it is, bro. That's acting. Bro, that person that's, yes, roses smell so nice. They're going to be,
bro.
they're going to be Tom Cruise.
Listen, Hollywood, are there casting directors out there that are just sitting there scrolling through TikTok?
Yeah,
like,
bro.
Let me find the best fucking AI actor on here.
The best one that I've seen so far is the guy that got on TikTok and played dead. Did you see that? He did like 370 days straight where he would go and like lay down in random places.
See, that's funny though.
And he would just like act dead. Bro, he got casted by NCIS.
Bro, that is acting. Talking to your fucking TikTok donations, like, thank you for the glizzy. Do a spin. No, bro. That's not like you're taking people's money that probably don't have money to be giving you. 1. 2, you're wasting your fucking time staring at yourself on a phone, bro. Like if there's anything that's bad for your ego, bro, it's that. Like that is probably the worst thing you could be doing for your ego is staring at yourself on a live stream just yes. You know? But also at the same time, like if she started, like the girl that started that, right? The whatever, Pink Doll, is that her name?
Something like that.
Okay. She has a family to feed. She's got kids. If it's making her money, like the first person to start doing that shit, nothing against them, bro, because it was a lane that worked for them. But for everybody else to pick it up and it to be like a trend for people to just like do it is so baffling to me. Because it's like, these are the things that like kids are spending their time doing now.
Bro,
and it worries me.
making bags.
No, bro, I don't even think it's bags. Like, how many people do you think can get on? How many people versus how many people are successful versus how many people in total do you think get on TikTok to try that shit?
I don't know. I mean,
should we try it for the podcast? Should we both go live on TikTok and just become NPCs for the next 5 minutes and see how much money we make?
I mean, I don't
Yes,
even
yes,
know.
yes.
I mean, glizzy.
Thank you for the glizzy.
That type of stuff is like, it is crazy to me. Like seeing like those people.
Bro, it's literally, it's cam girls for minors.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
what it is.
Yeah.
It's terrible. I think it's actually bad, bro. Because like that environment that they're building around, like, you know, donate and I'll do this, donate and I'll do this.
Yeah.
It's literally like, it's training these kids to go fucking get addicted to fucking giving cam girls money, bro.
Yeah.
That's literally what it's doing.
Yeah.
And I don't think a lot of people are like acknowledging that, you know? But I'm not saying cam girls are bad. Like, cam girls can get their money, but kids don't need to be learning that shit. You
Yeah.
know, they don't need to get comfortable doing that before it takes over. It doesn't need to fuck their life up before it like really fucks their life
Yeah,
up,
yeah.
you know? Like,
Yeah, because them cam girls are going to laugh at your dollar donations.
dude, I watched a, I think it was a Vice documentary about a guy that had a cam girl girlfriend, and he lost like all of his dad's inheritance or all of his dad's like savings to this cam girl, and then goes to an insane asylum or like gets arrested for fraud for it, and then gets out and does the same thing. And it's like, this girl is just taking all of his money. All she does is talk to him online, and it's like hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Hey, but on their end, someone is going to do it.
No.
Bro, it's like if somebody...
Leave that for the person that has $100,000 and can't get laid, bro.
But my thing is, like, that dude was going to go spend his money somewhere regardless.
It wasn't his money to spend.
Exactly.
It was his dad's
but
money.
still, he was going to do that regardless. So, hey, man.
Yo,
Eat.
to my future children, I would rather you go spend my savings on fucking Hunter Biden stash than a cam girl, bro.
Hey, yo.
I'm serious.
Not Hunter Biden.
The stash is probably going crazy.
Crypto.
Shit, cripping something. Crippled. Okay. Welcome to the Know Your Word podcast, where we all of a sudden just became fucking Tucker Carlson.
You became Tucker Carlson. I did not participate in any Hunter Biden talk.
Yeah, we know you didn't.
Yeah.
You're not a big fan.
I don't pay attention to that.
No, for real though, I think I'd rather have a kid be a drug addict than a fucking cam girl addict.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I'd just rather them not do either.
And parents. Like, what was his dad doing? How do you not notice $200,000 going missing from your bank account?
Well, he said it was his inheritance, so he's dead.
No, he wasn't dead. It was his savings. It was like his dad's savings.
I thought you were talking about like it was.
I spoke wrong.
Yeah, you said inheritance, and I was like, well, of course his dad didn't know he was fucking dead.
Well, yeah, no, his dad was alive. Like, he got in trouble for it. Like, he went to jail or some shit.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's real life crazy. But
I think he killed his parents. No, that's what it was. I'm pretty sure it was you know that YouTube channel Explore With Us? I'm pretty sure it was one of those. It was a guy that had done all that crazy shit and then killed his fucking parents. Yeah. That's exactly what happened. Yo, get off of TikTok, guys. That's if you don't want to kill your parents, bro.
Okay.
Don't be fucking with the AIs on TikTok, the NPCs, bro.
That's where, like, I mean, and it's like I understand the ease of it, like the parents turning their kids into like iPad kids. Mm-hmm. Like I understand, like that's the easiest way to like get your kid to like behave is like put a screen in front of them. Mm-hmm. But like that is one thing I will always pledge to do is like when I have kids, they're not going to be an iPad kid.
Yeah,
like I grew up without a phone. Like, and I see like, I mean, I got family members that like they turn their kids into iPad kids and all this other stuff, and it's just like they're just secluded and locked in their room, and that's all they want to do. You ask them to come out for dinner, and they scream at you. Like, I'm not dealing with that. Like, I would rather deal with an asshole kid because they want to play on an iPad rather than just give it to them.
Go to school.
Like, I can understand, like, every once in a while. Like, yeah, cool. Like, there is productive things that they can be doing on it. But if they're sitting there just playing Roblox, watching YouTube, whatever the case is on it, 24/7, then, like, dude, that's not healthy.
I'm putting that little motherfucker to work, bro.
Yeah, like shit. Because at that time, I'm gonna be in my dad era, so I'm gonna be doing the lawn work more than what I. That's true. That is true. That is true.
You out here cutting trees up and shit.
Hey man, that's
you in
crazy.
slides at the pool on the grill cooking out, bro. You full dad mode, bro.
Hey man, I gotta cut down another tree this week.
Hey,
when AT&T installed our fiber.
Yeah. How's the bonsai doing?
Oh, bro, fire, amazing,
Solid.
blessed. I got like 3 now.
Dad mode.
Yeah, I got a bunch of plants.
Yeah.
But AT&T, when they dug the trench for our fiber, they cut up a bunch of roots for like our big tree in the backyard. Yeah, bro, dead, gone. So got to cut it down. I got to figure out how to cut it down. It's a tall ass tree.
Yeah, it's gonna fall on the house.
Nah, it's gonna fall on my neighbors.
You gonna have to call somebody to cut that bitch down. They're gonna have to cut it down in sections.
Nah, bro.
He said, "Fuck it."
I'm gonna learn. I'm gonna YouTube it. I'm gonna learn how to cut down trees. I did it for a little bit with Skylar. I cut like 6 trees down. Yeah, bro. So like I'm experienced, you know.
Rip Logan's house, bro.
Yeah. Luckily it's not his. I'd be more cautious if it was his. It's our other neighbor that I don't really care for too much.
Oh yeah, the one that stole your package.
Nah, it was a different one.
Oh.
But it's the one that's to our backyard. They're assholes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, bro. I'm kind of scared to get neighbors.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're kind of lucky. You got commercials next to you, so it's not too bad.
I mean, there's a couple people that live on the other side, but like, I don't really have to deal with them. I have to deal with the dog that live up top, but I don't really have to deal with anything
I don't
else.
mind, like, because a couple of my neighbors are cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I got Logan. Shout out Logan.
Yo, by the way, Logan designs all of my merch, so if you guys want to support local artists, I support local artists as well. We split all the profit for the Know Your Worth merch. So when you guys purchase anything like these beanies or this shirt at knowyourworth.com, half of those proceeds go to Logan Albin, my designer. So
wow.
Yes, sir.
What a nice guy. But yeah, we gotta be on my dad era. I'm gonna be making my kid doing that stuff. Like shoot, Braden, our godson.
Yeah.
I'll be making him go out in the backyard and cut grass with me. But he just turned 3 today. I'll be putting him into work already.
Child abuse.
Nah, bro. I mean, if he cries, he goes inside. But like for the most part, he enjoys like raking leaves and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I'm just training him. I'm like, bro,
train that.
When he goes home, he's an iPad kid. When he's at uncle's house, nah.
You working?
Well, we're learning.
He's a blue collar boy.
Yeah, we're having fun playing in the dirt. Like come on.
I'm sending him home with worms.
So that's where. Like I just see it so often nowadays where it's just like kids walking like through the grocery store, just glued to their stuff, and it's like I understand. Like I mean, I have a phone. I play on my phone the majority of the time, but also like,
bro, even like I think it's like even the generation right before the iPad kids, because I feel like it was like us, and then a generation, and then a generation, and then the iPad kids, right? Like like I've seen kids that grew up just playing like hella video games or just like very like indulged in electronics, you know. And I'm not gonna lie, I spent a lot of my time like playing video games or just like watching YouTube growing up. Yeah. But I was also like super depressed, and I didn't really have brothers, I didn't have sisters, I didn't have friends, I didn't have family to go out and hang out with. Like that was literally all I could do, right? Yeah. But kids, I've seen kids that grew up in environments where like they were allowed to be social and like had opportunities to be social, but didn't because that's what they wanted to do or whatever. And like, I'm kind of worried about how people are going to interact in the future, because it's like, it's so hard to talk to some of these people.
That's what's crazy is like, I mean, like with off the generation thing, it's like, I will 100% always say that we were like the last real generation that played outside as kids. Like,
Yeah.
because I mean, think about it. Like when we
used to
were
ride our bike around and
yeah,
shit.
because we was right there at that cusp of smartphones.
Yeah.
Like yeah, when we were going like the Sidekick and the Razors and like those, but like you couldn't really play those. Like yeah, we had Nintendos, we had PlayStation ones.
It
but
wasn't something that you could spend 8 hours a day doing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so like I mean there was times where we were outside 24/7. Me, Logan, and Jake playing on the fucking trampoline for 8 hours a day. Like
I used to ride my bike around. That was my thing.
Yeah.
I would leave the house and I would just go ride around and I would go meet up with friends. Like I'd get on the Xbox and be like, yo, you want to go meet at Dylan's? I'd be like, yeah, let's go meet at Dylan's. We can ride to Dylan's, go meet at Dylan's. And we would just ride around town and cause fucking problems all day.
yeah, and
Running from cops and shit.
But nowadays it's just like yeah, like they ain't doing that. Like it's like, oh hey, hop on Discord.
Yeah. It's like, let's get on Fortnite.
Yeah.
You know?
It's just like, bro, it's sad. Like
Sending each other TikToks and shit. Do you see this NPC? You see the new one? Yes.
that's foul.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's where like I said, there's time and place for it. Like I can understand it. Like almost like how it was when I was a kid. Like I earned video games.
Yeah.
Like if I made sure all my chores were done, like then I gotta play my game.
Yeah, it wasn't like that for me. I was just like, I was just alone. I was just alone.
Yeah, no, see, like I had to like do the dishes, like make sure my laundry was downstairs, like clean the room, clean the house, vacuum, like a bunch of shit
Yeah,
before
this is the shit my kid's gonna be doing.
Yeah, like be productive with yourself, and like I want to instill like task lists and stuff like that, like very early too, of like planning your days.
Yeah.
Because I mean that's something I wish I had when I was growing up, of like being more adamant on like time planning. Like we'll schedule out, okay, from this time to this time in the morning, like even if it's as simple as like, okay, this is when we're eating breakfast, this is when you're going to school, when you come home you're doing homework from 4 to 6. Like
Jacob's like, I'm putting him on a schedule.
Yeah, bro, like because like time management's like one thing that like needs to be instilled better. Like obviously like the whole conspiracy about school is to get you ready for a factory job. Yeah. But it's like,
well, I mean, it's not a conspiracy. That's literally
what it is. It's true. But it's like taking that to another step in a way of like just being on time with stuff.
Yeah. I think there's a lot to that. I used to be like hard on myself about not having like a super strict routine or whatever. And nowadays I'm more like fluid about it, just because I have to understand like, bro, like I'm going to take the first day off that I've had in a month and I'm going to get called into the studio, just like the other night. You know what I mean? Like the other day, so I'd been working for like 2 weeks straight almost, probably a little more than that. And, well, no, I would say about 2 weeks straight. And I had been trying to take days off all last week. And, you know, I tried to take Wednesday off. Bunch of people booked and couldn't come in any other day. Okay, fine. Tried to take Thursday off, same thing happened. Tried to take Friday off, same thing happened. And then Saturday, I'm finally, you know, like our other engineers had some sessions booked. And I'm like, okay, finally. Like the schedule's packed out. Like I don't really have to worry about my clients booking me. I don't got to do anything extra. I can just take today and chill. Yeah. I've been going through it at home, dealing with personal shit. And I was like, all right, I need this time to breathe. End up spending that whole day stressing out, arguing, and finally like come to a conclusive, like breathable moment. You know what I mean? By the time I get to a point of like relaxation and like, you know, like my mind is not racing and I'm not going crazy, it's about like midnight, you know? And 12:30 comes around, I get a call. It's like, hey, Cap G's coming to the studio. We need you to open up. And I'm just like, fuck, dude. You know?
Well, and that's like being able to adapt with it. Like, there's a whole bunch of stuff where, I mean, especially in our fields, like, I mean, there's been so many times where like I plan to go out of town or do this or that, but I get a call and it's like, man, like my personal life is like close to none. Yeah. Like my personal life is shit, going to bed. Yeah. Like, and some days like that's 2 hours. Yeah. And that's where like when people want to be the photographer, they want to be the video, they just see the brights of it. And it's just like, no, dude, there's a lot of darks.
I say that to our other engineer all the time, where it's like, bro, it's not going to be a right away thing. And it's not going to be something that's just going to like, it's not going to be something that just, you know, you're going to be great at right away and you're never going to have to learn anything else for it. Yeah. You have to like constantly be getting better for it to be impactful and improve, you know? And it's like, you're going to have to make sacrifices. You're going to have to stay up all night. You're going to have to take the session when you got something else going on. You're going to have to tell friends no. You're going to have to not go out. You're going to have to not drink with your clients so that you can get the job done. You're going to have to not party, skip shows. You're going to have to do a bunch of shit that you don't necessarily want to do if it's a sacrifice to do what you want to do.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And that goes with anything, bro. Like, I sacrificed a ton coming to get to this position, you know? And we've all sacrificed a ton for each other too. You know, like it's never been like a selfish thing for us. And I think that's why our friend group works so well together, because it's always been like, how can we all be the best we can be and help each other do it?
Yeah.
You know? And I think you can't be afraid to make the sacrifice to do that, bro. You gotta, if you're starting out, bro, you have to work. You have to have income, you know? So you have to do something for income while you're getting to a point to turn this into your income.
Exactly. And that's another thing. Like, we all used to be that way of like, fuck a 9 to 5, fuck a 9 to 5. Bro, honestly, I wish I would have kept my job longer than I did. Like, but for me, looking back on it, like, video and stuff, like, the entry level cost for it is so much higher for quality stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like a decent camera rig nowadays, you're looking at $5,000 for like quality. And it's like, yeah, you can get away with spending less, but if you're like trying to get bigger clients and everything, like, it's going to cost. And like, I wish I would have kept that 9 to 5 a little bit longer to kind of supplement the pockets a little bit more, rather than having to go through some of those tough times I went through. But shit, some of those tough times
made
through,
you, bro.
Yeah, like they was like
that's the sacrifice.
Yeah.
The sacrifice of not having the money, not being like, fuck, how am I gonna pay rent? You know what I mean? Like that fire underneath your ass when you gotta pay rent and there's no rent money in your account.
Yeah.
Like, that's what creates greatness.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that was a big sacrifice I had to make too. Like,
but look at for artists. What's your thought on that? Like, most artists right now, like, if they're a little bit smaller, they're not traveling, doing the shows. I think
the sacrifice there comes with both the mental health and the money. Because, like you said, you wish you would have kept it just a little bit longer. For me, so literally yesterday, right? I went and smoked with some friends that I used to hang. The same friend that I had the bad mushroom trip with.
Yeah.
I went and smoked with him and some of his buddies. And they were I was kind of like, I kind of still had adrenaline, was kind of like excited because Cap G just came and recorded, and I just felt good because the session went really well, and so I obviously had like confidence or whatever. I just was happier than I have been the last several days.
Yeah.
And they were just asking me, about a lot of the things that we talked about today too, like, artists being dickheads or whatever. And I think one of them had brought up, like, dude, when back in the day, like when we used to be smoking every day or whatever, when you were in school, when you were working like normal jobs, like, you were always talking about killing yourself or just pissed off at the world and just upset, just mad. And he was like, bro, I haven't seen you like that since like you've started doing whatever the fuck you're doing, And I think for me, a lot of the issue with holding a job down was like knowing in my head I wanted to do something else.
Yeah.
And like sacrificing time that I wanted to be sacrificing somewhere else to make a little bit of money that wasn't even helping me fucking live.
Yeah.
And I think, like, I was working 3 jobs, like 3 actual jobs at one point, you know what I mean? Just to be able to pay my rent. And I would go do school photography in the morning, knock that out, be done by like noon, then go and touch at Journeys, then go and make donuts at the donut shop. And then at one point I got to the point where I was like, oh, fuck Journeys, quit Journeys, just balance those two, and was making no money doing that.
Yeah.
And then then I picked up like DoorDash photography on top of that, was trying to make money doing that, was making more money doing that than I was in my other 2 jobs combined. And like, while doing all of that and having no time in between anything, I was still going home after making those donuts and staying up all night and making 3 songs. You know what I mean? Inviting everybody over to record, or going over to Blaine's house and recording, or whatever. Like, every night, it was just a constant no sleep sacrifice of like, we have to do this every night until we get to the point where it becomes what we're doing every day. And I wasn't, I couldn't think in my head to stop. Like there was nothing that could have made me like, oh, I gotta go to bed and get some sleep.
Yeah.
It wasn't even a thought, bro. It wasn't a priority, and it still isn't a priority. It was like it's still like I have to go to the studio every day. Like if I sit at home like Saturday, I sat at home all day. I didn't know what the fuck to do.
Yeah.
I was just like, what the fuck am I doing right now?
Well, and that's where, I mean, shit, you and I both go through that. Like, the sacrifices we make on that is our personal relationships that we have outside of this. Like, that shit suffers. Like,
that's definitely the sacrifice.
Like, being the
right
creative with this shit is like, bro, like, yeah, like, I take a day off. Like, you know how I try to take Thursdays. Bro, but if I'm sitting there on a Thursday and I get a call like, hey, come work, dude, it takes all of me to tell them no, like, hey, let's do it tomorrow. Like, because it's like, I know, like, within my personal life, like, I got to spend time with her to, like, make sure that we stay good. But also, like, dude, if I'm chasing this dream, it's like, fuck, like, it's like trying to find that balance there. Like,
communication is important there, too. Like, one of the first things I said to my girlfriend when we got together is, you know, like, it's no disrespect to you, and I know you had the same conversation, and I know a lot of our friends have had conversations when they get in relationships like this. You know, it's no disrespect to you, but, like, this is what I'm working towards. This is what I've been working towards my entire life. There's not a damn thing in this world besides death that could stop me from working towards this. And as much as I want to be in a relationship with you, I'm never going to let our relationship come in between, like, these goals that I've set for myself pretty much since birth. You know what I mean? So no matter what, at the end of the day, like, if I have a job that I have to take, like, I have to take that job. You know, literally. If I have to go travel, I have to go travel. It's not if, ands, or buts about it. Sometimes it's going to be in really shitty points in our relationship. Sometimes it's going to be in really good points in our relationship. You know, it's on us to be able to communicate and work through those situations. And it's something we struggle with, like, very actively struggle with, are actively struggling with now.
100%.
You know?
I mean, it's like,
But
it's like once you get through that, and a lot of it too. So, like, I was talking to another friend of ours, and, like, he was going through the same type of stuff, but then he realized, like, a lot of it comes too of, like, people not, like, say, like, our spouses not being ultra confident in what we're doing. Like, and it's like once you can prove it to them, like, hey, like, that's when they'll be more accepting and like willing to bend and work with the things that we got going on. And, like, at first I was like, damn, that's kind of fucked up. Like, the way I, like, perceived it from him was like him being like, oh yeah, you're not shit, and they don't think you're shit, so you're not gonna be shit. But then I really thought about it. Like, it's a confidence thing. Like, if you can prove to them, like, hey, like, we're gonna be good, and they don't gotta stress about it, they're gonna stop stressing about us being out late, us doing this or that as much, because then they're comfortable. And that's one thing I've been working on a lot more too, like, on top of the communication aspect, is just, like, working harder to be like, hey, like, we are going to be good. Like, we don't have to worry about this.
I'm a dickhead, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a dickhead. I'm the type of person, like, I'll be like, oh, you need more time? I'm sorry.
Well, and that's how I was at first too, because, like, I was like, and it's kind of like Andrew Tate-ish in a way of, like, the perception of it. And
bro, like, I don't, like, and I don't mean that in, like, a disrespectful way, you know what I mean? And I'm acknowledging that that's an asshole thing to do, but also, like, because I only say that I've said that because I've said it, you know, and it's like, it's one of those things where I've had to be like, okay, well, you know, like, we can make more time for each other, but at the same time, like, this is only going to get busier. So we're going to have to figure out how to incorporate that. Or, you know, if that's too much, it's too much.
And no, I feel that I've had the same talks where it's just like, if you can't deal with it, I'm sorry, you're out. And then I look back on it like, damn, I was an asshole. But also, like, that if that's what needs to happen, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, none of us ever want to go through breakups, bro. But I think it's really important for each other to communicate, like, their own, you know, feelings and needs and wants. And, you know, like, it's also, you know, important to acknowledge when it's not being presented and not possible being presented. But at the same time, like, I'm not saying my relationship is gonna fucking, because we talked it out, we're fine, you know what I mean? And that's what you gotta do in those situations. You gotta be like, look, bro, like, I'm trying my best, but I'm also fucking, you know, like as an engineer, like, I don't get to take days off. As much as I can say, like, oh, I'm gonna take Saturday off or I'm gonna take Friday off. Like, if I get that call and somebody's like, hey, so-and-so is in town and they need a studio to record at and I'm the person they're coming to, I'm not just going to be like, I'm tired, bro. I'm never going to be that person. And I think a lot of that comes from I mean, I've just always kind of been like that, like been like the first to just be like, okay, fuck it, let's do it.
Yeah.
Or like if something seems challenging or hard, like it makes me want to do it more.
Yeah.
You know, and like if it's hard for me to get up out the chair and go to the studio, I might be like, damn, I really just want to like chill, but I'm gonna think about it and be like, nah, we gotta do it, and I'm gonna get up and do it. Greasy is an engineer that posts on TikTok a lot. He posts a lot of like TikTok videos, and kind of on that preset subject, like he talks a lot of shit on people that do presets because he's very like, you have to do what sounds good, you know what I mean? And you know, like I follow a couple engineers, and one of them he shits on that does do presets, and I fuck with him because, you know, like he has a cool platform, but you know, like on that, everybody has their own thing, you know. If you're gonna make more money selling presets and that's gonna be your thing, then that's gonna be your thing. But if you're gonna make more money being an engineer, that's what you're gonna do. And that's but Greasy had told me, I reached out to him a while ago and we had a conversation, and he told me like all of his big jobs, all of the things that people consider notches on his belt, came from him being a last minute choice and the person that took it. You know what I mean? Somebody calling the night of a session and being like, yo, our engineer shit out on us. We have Frank Ocean, and we need you to record. And he took it. And next thing you know, Channel Orange happens. You know what I mean? And I think that inspired me to be like, damn, I have to be on top of it. You know what I mean? I can't be making the sacrifice in my career. I have to be making the sacrifice outside of it if I want to continue to go. But when I'm older, that's going to change too. And I have to be aware of that. You know, like I have to know, like, when I'm 50 and the bank account's good and I don't need to be taking every single job that comes my way, like I'm going to have to, you know, double down and spend time with me and my family or whoever's around. Exactly.
And that, that's like the thing we work for is like, because I mean, I see my family and like others where it's like, bro, you got grandma and she's 75 and she's still working. And it's just like, bro, I don't want to have to deal with that when I'm older. It's like, dude, I want to be 40, being that cool dad. Like, man, let's go to the lake. Like, let's
go to fucking wherever the fuck.
Like let's just take a week and go.
Let's go to Disneyland, bro.
And not have to stress about work 24/7. It's like, just make sure, like, cool, we got the business that runs itself, and we can go do whatever we want. Like, obviously, it's like still work, because it's like I don't think there's a day in my life I'll be able to sit back and not look at my stuff and work.
I'm always gonna want to be in the studio, bro. I'm always gonna want to be in the studio.
Right, and that's like my red flags. That's my toxic traits. Is like, bro, I will work. Like, and
I'm going to work.
It's like the whole days off. Like, bro, I sit at home, and I'm like, that's why I had to get a second phone, bro, because I would be sitting there shooting out messages or like cold messaging people like, hey, like, I love your guys' shop, whatever, let's sit down for a meeting. And then I'd be getting yelled at because I'm on my phone doing business shit. She don't care if I'm on my phone just mindlessly scrolling through TikTok. But if it's like, oh, hey, like, you're working.
I think, you know, a reason for that would be like, as creators, we don't really know, or as contractors, service work, whatever. When you work for yourself, like, there's no concrete paycheck tomorrow. You know what I mean? There's no like set in stone like, oh, my rent's paid. Unless you have fucking hella money and you're making hella money doing it, you don't got to worry about that. But even then, if you're making hella money, you probably got employees, you got finances and shit to take care of. So there's never no like concrete like it's gonna be good tomorrow. So I'm always like, you know, like I have a problem where if the studio slows down for a day and we don't have a booking for a couple days or whatever, instead of taking that as like a break, which I should because I need it, I'm gonna come up here and fucking post a video and be like, we got openings on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. You know,
bro, post sales, something
like, and I don't know why. I don't know, bro. I think I just don't ever want to be broke again. I think I'm so afraid of being like, at the bottom. But like, that's like
always work. Like it
is a red flag though. It can't be a red flag.
And that's where it's like I will proudly wear that and own it. Like I will openly just be like, yeah, bro, I'm an asshole. Like when it comes to, but then again, it's like you look at it like, are you an asshole or are you just looking out for yourself?
Are you dedicated?
It's like, and that's where I've had that talk too, where it's like, I know it's coming off like I'm an asshole, but like, this is what it's gonna take. Like, if you want me to work a 9 to 5 to where it's like, cool, you know, you get 2 days a week where we go do stuff. Cool, go find you someone else.
Facts.
Like that's not me.
It's not me.
Wrong dude.
You want a normal person, normal life? Don't be here. I literally said that.
Well, that's where, like, I mean, we've had those conversations where it's like, should we not? Should we still be? Whatever the case is, like. But I'm just like, you know how it is. They make the joke. Oh, you're gonna get hosed. This, that. Fuck no. But I'm gonna sit here and like I was like, you think me not being home now is an issue? If you're not a reason I have to come home, I was like, I will sleep at the studio.
Facts.
Like,
bro, literally, I don't even know if I would be like here, bro. I would be out fucking working 24/7 wherever the fuck I could be, you know?
It's like
the studio's booked, but I'm going to LA.
Yeah.
But I'm going to Arizona.
Yeah,
but
like,
I'm going to fucking Atlanta.
That's
you
all.
know?
I was like, dude, there would just be no, like, I would be worse off mentally because it's like, cool, I don't have to force myself to like chill, but also like on the flip, like, yo, like, I would be working way more, and which could, I mean, be beneficial or not. It kind of depends where you see it, right?
We love our girlfriends.
Oh,
I
yeah, we
promise,
do.
bro.
We do,
Like,
we do.
Like I'm in a loyal, happy relationship. I'm a loyal Christian man. I don't do anything criminal.
Facts.
That sounded very suspect.
Yeah.
But on the topic of hoes, like, I'm blessed that I haven't really had to deal with her being like that, because, I mean, like, we are in situations where a lot of girls can be around, you know? And to me, when I get around girls that are like team players, bro, it grosses me out. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, it's just like, something about it is just like, if everybody else can have it, I don't want anything to do with it.
Yeah.
Like, there's to me, there's like it's something about like having your person or whatever, you know, like being able to come home and go to her, and like she, you know, knowing that she's not out fucking around with anybody else, and knowing that I'm not out fucking around with anybody else. Like, it's a good feeling, bro.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of my friends or a lot of people I know can be kind of mischievous, and I think that it fucks with their mental health more than they think it does.
And that's like, I had that talk the other night of like, bro, if I was to go out and do some shit like that and like be a hoe, whatever, bro, my conscience is gonna eat me 10 times harder than it would be to just break up with you and then go do it.
Bro, even being around like an environment where friends of ours or acquaintances or people that are in our group are out like macking and like pulling bitches, it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, I feel grimy, even though I'm not talking to nobody. I'm just like with the homies drinking or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make me feel good to be around. You know what I mean? I feel like I just want to, you know, be chilling.
Yeah.
But
Let's take a break.
yeah,
I gotta pee.
we can definitely take a break. There you go.
Yes, it registered on both of them.
Hell yes. All right, welcome back to the Know Your Word podcast. Did you have a good bathroom break?
Yeah.
Right on.
I pissed it.
We're gonna play a game every episode of this podcast with each guest we do. By the way, if you're watching on YouTube and you want to see anybody specifically on the podcast, make sure you guys leave a comment and follow us on Instagram at Know Your Worth LLC. That's KNWURWORTH LLC. Once again, you can purchase his merch, beanies like this or shirts like this very soon on knowyourword.com, KNWURWORTH.com. All right, so we're going to play a game every podcast where I have a deck of cards here just in honor of us playing on my poker table. And I'm going to have you draw a couple cards. We're going to draw 3 cards, okay? You'll draw one, then I'll draw one. If it lands on a black card, so any spade or club, you have to tell me something interesting. Something interesting about yourself, something interesting you've done recently, an interesting project you've worked with, person you've worked with. If it lands on something red, you have to tell me an embarrassing story or an embarrassing fact. Okay? The embarrassing story can be about somebody else too. I just want to throw that rule out there.
We calling people out.
Yeah, we
That's
are.
Wild.
We making it wild. We getting grimy. Okay. Starting with my boy,
But
Yakino.
can we do what we did last time with it? Or if I play one back, you gotta do
Whoever plays the highest card has to do it?
Yeah.
Okay, we can do that. So he'll draw one, then I'll draw one. Whoever has the highest card has to tell. We'll do 3.
Cool.
All right, what do you got, buddy? Ace of Hearts. I got
Wow.
King of
So
Spades.
you got the interesting one.
Do we play off our card or your card?
Mm.
I think we should play off the opponent's card.
Okay.
So-
we just play off the highest card.
Well, yeah. Well, like,
Yeah, we'll just play like, so if this card was the highest card and it won,
yeah.
then that's the, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Let's play it that way.
Okay.
Cool.
So that's something embarrassing.
Oh.
An embarrassing fact or an embarrassing story. On my 21st birthday, I think I drank myself to death. There's videos of me passed out in Blaine's bathroom, and I swear I had a talk with God in my conscience that was like, bro, if you kill me to alcohol poisoning right now, I literally, bro, in my head, I'm talking to something.
Yeah.
You know, and I can't move. My body isn't functioning. I feel my heart stop beating, and I'm just like praying to God, bro. I'm like, bro, if you fucking kill me for alcohol poisoning right now, I'm haunting everybody in this fucking house. That's literally what was going on in my head.
Yeah.
And, I was just throwing up. There's videos of me out there. There's a camcorder video of them just coming in and just saying, like, sacrifice Christ or some shit like that.
Geez.
Yeah, they were talking about how Christ got sacrificed and whatnot.
Jesus, Greenwood.
It was a fucked up time. It was pretty embarrassing, though. Yeah, it was sad. And then they came, I remember them coming in. They were like, oh, we got to pick him up and take him to the car. And all of a sudden, my soul just lifted me up. And I stood up and walked to the car. I said, nobody's fucking touching me. And I walked to the car. So, yeah.
Wow.
That's my embarrassing story. Go ahead. What do you got?
Damn.
4 of Hearts. I got the 7 of Clubs.
Cool.
Interesting fact. Or story.
Just bought a new laptop today.
Okay, what kind of laptop you buy?
It's the 2021 MacBook Pro M1.
Oh, yeah. What'd you get the laptop for?
Oh, so I can work on the go. Because right now, I'm working off an iMac, so I feel kind of trapped, and I can't really travel too much and edit. And I got a trip to Nashville coming up soon where they need same-day edits. So
There you go.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Cool. One more. I got a bad one.
Oh.
Wow.
Da!
5 of Clubs.
8
of Clubs. So something interesting? I already told the Cap G story, huh?
Yeah.
Damn, that was going to be my interesting fact. I just did a... well, I think I could say this. I should have already been done.
Yeah.
So I think I'm okay to say that. But yeah, so that's in the plans. They booked a session for me on Saturday, and they booked the whole day out. So we'll see how that goes.
Hell yeah. Congrats
Yeah.
on that.
Appreciate that. Yes, sir. Well, right on. I think we've gone on for about 2 hours now, so we should probably wrap it up. This has been the very first episode of the Know Your Worth podcast.
Hey, thanks for having me.
I appreciate you for coming through, Jacob, and sit down and talking with us. I'm sure we'll have you on several more times. Like I said earlier, if you guys want to see anybody specific on the podcast, make sure you comment, let us know. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, all that good stuff. TikTok, it is Worth is Known, KWN. On Instagram, it's KNWURWORTHLLC. You can go online and visit us, knowyourworth.com. You can check out our merch. You can also see some of my credentials and kind of get an idea of what I do for a living. So thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate you. You can listen to us on any platform you listen to podcasts on. So if you're not at home able to watch on YouTube, feel free to throw us on in the car. Listen to us on Apple Music or Spotify Podcasts. Apple Podcasts or Spotify. There you go. Right on. You guys can follow me on Instagram at ARTSTUNKWN. My name is Christian Simmons. You guys can follow Jacob at jclark.jpg or Manage to Create.
Yep.
And yeah, thank you guys for listening.
All right. Catch you.
See you next time.